Hello everybody, I'm here just to show you a card I'm making actually for my mum's birthday card, and it's called a triple floating diamond card. Sounds very posh. And you need a fair bit of cardstock for it, and I've got a lot of it prepared because it will take there's a lot of work to do, but I'm going to show you a couple of things that you need to do. So the first thing you need to make the actual base of the card is you need 2 sheets of your base cardstock, whatever colour you want to use, and they need to be 5 3/4 by 11.5 inches. And you're going to score them at 2 7/8, 5 3/4, and 8 5/8. So there's 3 scores for each one, and then you're going to mark, and I just use a pencil mark. Let me show you on this one that isn't finished. I just use a little tiny pencil mark at halfway along this side, so that's 2 7/8. So you just put a little pencil mark there. It doesn't matter about the mark because you're actually going to get rid of it. You can still see it on this point here. I'll show you what we do with that to form the triangular ends, and that is we're going to do the triangular cuts. Now, I've shown you this before. You want to put the corner of the crease mark into your channel on your trimmer, and then turn it so that the pencil mark is also on the trimmer. So you have lined up like that. Just get mine absolutely lined up. There we go. And then bring your trimmer blade so that it's over the middle of your card or paper, whatever you're cutting, before you place it down. And then you can cut both ways. So if we do that again, we're lining up the pencil mark at the middle of the long side with the corner of the crease, where the crease just comes off the end of the card, putting the blade in the middle so that if you cut like that side to side, you get nice clean cuts. If you come up and try and cut from the corner, you're likely to damage it. So always start with your blade in the middle. So that's the cutting. I've done that on all the pieces, and then simply rounding off. There we go. And we'll do the other one as well. I think perhaps I need a new corner rounder. I can't find my Stampin' Up corner rounder. I know I had one. I don't know where it's gone. It was an old one. Right, so when we've got those 2 pieces cut, we need to fold them, and we're going to do mountain, valley, valley. So mountain, we fold back on itself, and using the bone folder just to make sure that crease is beautiful, and then turn it over to do a valley fold there. It's going inwards, and another valley fold here, so that one is also going inwards. You'll see why in just a minute. So those are your 2 pieces. They'll actually sit like this, and that's how we form the card. Okay. So the other pieces you need for it, there's quite a lot, and I've done a lot of preparation because you don't want to see me sticking things together. So we need the panels for the back of the card. I've used a double panel, so I've used a bit of basic white, and that is, yes, it's 2 5/8 by 5 1/2. So the white panel, 2 5/8 by 5 1/2 inches, and then the DSP on top, just whichever DSP you want to match your cardstock. This is then the colour I've used for my basic cardstock is Parakeet Parties, and because I'm using owls from the lovely set I'll show you in a minute, I wanted it to match the brown and green colour scheme that I've got for my cards. So whatever designer series paper you actually want, those sizes need to be 2 1/2 by 5 3/8, which then allows you to have the border all round, which looks rather nice. So these are all going to stick on there, which I will do and speed up the video because you don't need to see me doing that. The other bits you need 3 pieces which are going to sit roughly like this. There we go. This is the floating diamond bits, and these 3 pieces, we've got the coloured cardstock again at the bottom. So don't want to get those mixed up. I've also done a panel that I'm going to stick on the back of the card for the greeting, because the way that the card is set out, it's actually, you'll see there isn't really room for a greeting on the front. So I'm sticking a panel on the back, and all I've done is cut a panel. This time the larger panel is cut out of DSP and the smaller panel in white, and then I just stamped that for the back. So let me show you how to put the card together. I'm going to start by sticking the panels on, and I'll be back when I've done that. Okay, so the next stage is that we are going to use some tape to hold these front together, and the tape is just there purely to hold the pieces together. We don't need to stick them together because they're going to be opened up. So we want them to hold together in the center. So line it up carefully and then just put a couple of pieces of tape across that join just to hold them together here. So I'm starting by one at the bottom, one at the top, and then I'll put one in the middle. And I'm not taking the top of this piece off because I don't need to. Well, I could, but I don't really need to, because this is going to stick across and on like that, which will hold everything together. So I'm going to just put some Tombow again on the back of this. Tombow's running out. Why do I always find my Tombow runs out? Because I go through so much Tombow, I think. Because I go through a lot. And I could actually take the top off these. Might as well, because it'll help it all stick down. And there is no front and back in this, obviously, just yet, because I haven't stuck the bit on the top. So that sticks just on the centre like that. I'm going to press it down and hold it down well, because I want to make sure that really does stick down well. And you can see how that gives the effect of the diamond floating in midair. How clever is that? And then we're going to stick the other two panels on the sides in the same way. So obviously here we only want to put Tombow on the very outside of the panel, because we don't want to stick it onto this side. This bit's going to float in midair. So all that we do there is think about putting the Tombow just, if I can get any more out, come on, there must be some, oh, I might just go to my other Tombow. There we go, easiest. So we're going to draw a line just off the centre there, and then the whole of that side, but only on one side. So we only have glue on one side of that panel, and it sticks to this flap here. So press it on there, press it down, just hold it for a second to make sure it's sticking, and then you can see that that one is floating as well. We do exactly the same on this side. So there we have all of our pointing, there we go, all our pointed, I think we can see those there, the floating diamonds bit. How beautiful is that? So having got all of those pieces stuck down, I haven't stuck the one on the back, I'll do that in a minute. I've prepared the centre panels to go in, and again I've used layers of my base card and the other. The centre one is very, very slightly bigger here, and that is going to go on the centre one, obviously, and the two on the outside. So we need these to actually be stuck down flat, because the way the card folds up, I'll show you just without these. The way the card folds up, you think, oh, hang on a minute, how is this going to go? How does this go into an envelope? Well, it does, because we can fold it up like this. Do you see how that folds? So if you want to, you could, oh, somebody's coming, that's why Gus is barking. And I might actually do that. I probably will put more panels on those two outside ones as well, because you can see that, obviously when the card is together and it fits in a square envelope. You will need a square envelope for this, a square 6-inch envelope. So I am going to put two more panels on there, I think. And then obviously my panel that I've put my message on can just go on here. So I'll stick that on now, actually, so that I've got it done. But let me just show you, just finally sticking these down. I've coloured these with blends. I was going to show you the set. The set is the Adorable Owl set, and this is available from Saleabration, the wonderful thing that we have every January and February with Stamping Up, where you can get this set free with a £45 order, and for every £45 you will get a free something. So there's paper, there's stamp sets, there's all sorts that you can get, some beautiful papers, and I will be showing those in a video just after Christmas. So this is the Adorable Owl. So I've used all of these three plus one of the sentiments. I've used sentiments, the mum on this one. That comes from this set, which is in the new January to July catalogue. Best family ever, and it's got all of the different ones you might need. And I love this because it's the same font one. Previous sets we've had have had different fonts for different names. So if you wanted to say put mum and dad or grandpa and grandma, you had different fonts, which didn't look very good. So I love this set. So I've used the mum from that. And I also used the sentiment that I've used on this one. On this owl, I've just used the happy birthday. That's from the Something Fancy set. And I've actually used a fourth set as well, because I've used this for my sentiment on the back. This is the framed florets set. Oh, too many F's, can't speak. And I've used the sentiment from that for a special person on a special day for the back of my card. So, just move the sets out of the way. That one's the centre one. It's your day, happy birthday mum, is how I'm having them laid out. So I'm just going to, again, put some Tombow on these and then stick them on. So do remember, the only thing to remember, how do I know this? Because I made the mistake. When you're first doing your initial stamping, remember that it's going diagonally. There's always a reverse side of your bits of card, of course. So on that one, I actually stamped it straight on as I would normally stamp it. So I had to re-stamp it on the other side, what we call the emergency side of our cardstock. So that was fine. And then I've coloured it in the stamping blends. I've used several different stamping blends, and I've used Parakeet Party and Highland Heather for the purple and green hat here. And for the owl itself, I've used Pumpkin Pie for the nose. I've used Balmy Blue for the eyes. I've used Daffodil Delight, dark and light, for the sort of face bit. I've used Crumb Cake for the tummy on all of these, and on the inner bit of the ear. And then for the main part of the owl, I've used Soft Suede, light and black, and Pumpkin Pie again for the feet. So those are the colours I've used for this one. Obviously you can use whichever ones you want, but I think those colours really suit this owl. And I shall be making a lot more of these owls because I just love them. I think big eyes, it's the big eyes that do it, isn't it? You know, beautiful big eyes on anything just looks beautiful. So there is my card. I am going to put some of these panels on the back. I'll probably use a different DSP to put on the back. As I say, it folds up so that it will still look beautiful and goes in a 6x6 envelope. So here is the card now properly finished. So I've got all my layers on here with all my different little things. I just think it's rather a beautiful card, and you'll see on the back I have actually added some strips of paper. This is from the Tea Boutique set. These ones just matches the card, Parakeet Party, and I've got my panel where I can write my message and sign the card. So that is that is my card. I hope you like it. It is called a floating diamond card. You could have it either way up, I suppose, to sit. And that is for my mum for her birthday. So if you've enjoyed this little go through, do ask if there's anything you want to know. All the full instructions and all the measurements, because there's a lot in this card, they are all on my blog. So please find it there at craftycarolscards.co.uk. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.